karma is something that's always been a very intriguing factor for me, because you say what goes around comes around, and your karma comes right in front of you. Still, I always feel that in a country like ours, there is so much that people get away with, in terms of corruption, in terms of crime, or power takes over. Where does karma come in? Is karma limited to only poor people, and it doesn't apply for the rich or the powerful?
See, this is a very, unfortunately, a simplistic representation. You're suffering, so it's your karma. I think if somebody is suffering, to tell him, it's your karma, so you're suffering, is not some great insight into karmic substance of that person. It's just that you lack humanity. You're going through something painful, I say, oh, it's your karma. This is lack of humanity, not some insight into life or such. Let's understand what is karma. See, the way you understand, the way you perceive, experience, understand anything that comes your way depends on the past memory that you have. For example, what kind of music do you like?
Anything that's soothing to the ears.
Heavy metal?
No, not at all soothing to the ears.
Okay. So you want some soothing music. So if we play heavy metal music for you, and this music can be only played at full volume, anything less than that it doesn't work. So if we play heavy metal music for you at full volume, you will have a nervous breakdown. But there is some young people there, same sound. In one person's ears, it becomes music. For another person, it's noise. So, how you recognize a particular sound, this is your karma. This is why in this country we told you, when we say karma, we did not say that you need to be punished, you're suffering, you're being punished. This is not the karma aspect. Karma means action. We are performing 4 dimensions of action right now as you sit here. Physical action is happening, mental action is happening, they're saying you're very brainy.
They're putting pressure on me.
Emotional action is happening, energy action is happening. These 4 dimensions of activity, today, from the moment you woke up till this moment, how much of these 4 karmas are you conscious?
I guess the physical karma, because your physical action and the mental action.
To what extent are you conscious? Don't calculate, I'm telling you, it's well below 1%.
I'm sure.
So, when only 1% of your activity is conscious, your life is accidental, that's what it means. Let's say you drive on the street. You drive for 10 minutes. On the Visakhapatnam streets, they're not too bad.
They're very good.
Roads are good and traffic is better than most of the places. In this city, you drive for 10 minutes and for only 1% of the time you keep your eyes open, rest of the time you drive with your eyes closed.
It's accident, not accidental.
No, sometimes people are compassionate, they may make way for you. So, it's not accidental, it's an accident, it's going to be a crash.
100%.
Yes. So that is what is happening with life. This is why so much stress, so much fear, because largely it is happening unconsciously. What you're doing, what your body is doing, what your energies are doing, what your thought is doing, emotion is doing, very small speck people are conscious of, rest is unconscious. If you increase the size of what is conscious, suddenly it feels like everything is in your hands. If you can consciously conduct your body in every way, 15 to 20% of your life and destiny will be in your hands. If you can consciously conduct the thought process, 40 to 50%, along with thought, emotion also, if you conduct it consciously, anywhere between 40 to 70% of your life will be… life and destiny will be in your hands. If you can conduct your very life energies consciously, 100% of your life and destiny will happen the way you want it. If you become available to a dimension of intelligence within you which is beyond you, which is… we call it chitta, you can call it grace, you can call it whatever. If you become available to grace, you not only are in charge of your life and your destiny, you can also take charge of the life and destiny of 1,000,000 people around you. This is available to a human being. Will a human being explore these dimensions, or do they want to just eat, sleep, reproduce and die one day? It's up to them. But no matter who you are, what kind of work you do, how much money you have, what you do, you can try to forget it, but mortality is hanging in your face, isn't it? Most people don't get it unless a doctor gives them a terrible diagnosis or they get very old. But isn't it true, as you inhale and exhale, if the next inhalation doesn't come in, you're gone, poof. So fragile this life is. At the same time, it's so sturdy, how many things a man can do? But, woof, it'll be gone. When we are here, we think we are everything. What we don't understand is, as you sit here right now, countless number of people have walked and sat on this planet like you and me. Where are they? All topsoil?
We're mere particles.
Huh?
So we're mere particles which
Yes.
will just…
Unless… this will also become topsoil, unless somebody chooses to bury you real deep, fearing you may rise from the dead. You know, there have been instances…
Yeah.
Can I tell you a joke?
Sorry?
Can I tell you a joke?
Yes, please.
This happened. There was a couple in Texas, over 70 years of age. It was their 40th wedding anniversary also. They've been planning, they've been always wanting to go to the holy land of the Jerusalem. But being in business, children, this, that, they never made it. Over 70 years of age, now they got the opportunity. Both of them went. They were overwhelmed by the whole situation there. They walked the streets, they walked in the street where Jesus is supposed to have walked. You know, Jerusalem reeks of history. Every stone, every cobblestone reeks of history. Then they went to that place where Jesus is supposed to have walked upon water. They were completely overwhelmed, thoroughly enjoying their trip, but unfortunately, the lady had a heart attack and she died. You know, it happens. Then he was making preparations to take the body back to Texas. Then the local people approached and said, see, this is not a bad thing. Your wife has died in the Holy Land. This is the place to die. So there is no need to go to Texas, and above all, it costs you $18,000 to transport your wife's body to Texas. We will do it here. $18,000 plus local charges there. So for you, a special price because you are from Texas, $20,000, we'll do everything. The man thought about it and said, no, I will take her to Texas. They said, no, 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 you are under stress, you know. Please don't torture the child, whoever. He's just started his life, he doesn't want to know about past life and
Or too much karma.
So,
$20,000.
$20,000. Then they said, you are under stress, you are not able to think clearly, we will give you a discount, $15,000. Let's do it. The man thought about it and said, no, I will take her to Texas. They said, no, 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 you are under duress, you're not able to see things clearly. What is the point? This is the place to die, Jerusalem, this is the Holy Land, she wanted to come here and she died here. This is where it must happen. You are under deep stress, so because of your distress and suffering, we will give you a super discount, $10,000, let's do it. You know, this is Jerusalem, you can bargain.
Yeah.
The man thought about it and he said, no, I'm taking her to Texas. Then they said, why? Doesn't make sense. Why are you doing this? The man said, in Texas, dead stay dead.
In Jersey. Well, he didn't want to risk it.
So, we are sitting here right now. We will fall dead and become part of this earth. Somebody else will be walking over it in no time. It's a brief life. It's a very brief life. Especially if you're joyful, it's a very, very brief life. Have you noticed this on a particular day?
Yeah, happy days just pass.
Happy days just
like
go
this.
like a moment, miserable days take a long time. So only miserable people can have a long life. If you're joyful, before you know what hit you, it gets over. So in this brief life, is it not important that extremely brief life, for the immensity of what a human being can be, this time that's allotted for us is too little. But in that people get bored and they kill themselves.
Very unfortunate.
Without ever exploring the nature of what this life is about, simply because people's physiological and psychological drama has bigger than the existential realities in which we are.
But that's also because Sadhguru, a lot of them are not aware of what the reality is.
That's because they don't know how to act in their life.
No,
They're thinking it's real, you need to tell them.
Right, like you're showing them a path, you know, and
No,
which
you
is a
need
great…
to tell them it's all an act.
Well, unfortunately, somehow I feel a large percentage in our country is still struggling for the basics, you know, which is the food and the shelter and home and clothes. So for them, that is it. That's meeting their ends is tougher.
That is an unfortunate reality. Still, basics like food and shelter have not happened.
Right.
That's a different thing. But believe me, those who are successful are suffering a lot more than those who are not so successful. I'm constantly working with business leaders around the world, and I see most successful people have the longest faces.
I agree. I don't know what makes it so difficult to just put a smile on your face all through the day.
So, if people don't have anything to eat, that's a different situation, we have to fix that, there's no question about that. But people's psychological drama, what you think and feel becomes bigger than the creation.
True.
Because of that, life gets all messed up. After all, it's your thought, you can make it any way you want it. After all, it's your emotion, you can make it any way you want it. But that freedom and that awareness is not there simply because less than 1% of it is conscious. Rest is all in reaction to something else.
So now you said, you know, most of it is we're not conscious about the actions, and coming back to my question where my main point was, what if it's a consciously bad karma that a person does, you know, say a murderer or somebody who commits crimes, or, you know, there's so much happening in our country today. Now, where does karma fall in place? Because my question was, in at least our country, it's not like the Middle East where people are highly punished. There's a lot that you can get away with.
Because a lot of times, just the way they're living itself is a punishment. So, we don't think we have to punish them further.
No, but But there are quite a lot. I mean, we all know that, there are people who get away with a lot of things, and very unfortunate that it is. But is it somehow, somewhere that we are not able to handle things properly in our country and we blame it on karma?
See, it's not just in this country, everywhere it is there. Here we have over 10,000 years of culture and history, so we have learned many more tricks. We have learned many more tricks as to how to do these things. Essentially, karma means action. As I said, 4 dimensions of action. In the physical world, action naturally has a consequence. It is not like somebody sitting up there and they're going to punish you for this or that. You said if a consciously negative karma… See, what is negative and positive is not in the action, it is in the volition, it's in the intention. I'm sorry to take such an example, but you come from an army setup, your family is there. Armed forces means we have built armed forces mainly so that if somebody bothers us, to kill them. Nothing wrong with that. You get a medal for that. Because we're doing it for a cause that we believe is sacred for us. But we must understand somebody else unfortunately believes their cause is also sacred. So don't take karma there, because there are many people who believe what they're doing is God's own work and they're willing to die for it. But it's against us, so we don't like it. Well, we didn't start the problem, that's our argument. That is at the level of political, social situations, yes. But now you're talking about an inner situation. An inner situation is only by intention. Intention is fixed, everybody thinks what they're doing is great. If you and me were 2 different countries, I'm fighting for my country, you're fighting for your country.
Our intentions are right.
So
Right.